all the targets were on that tree. And this is like 1987, 88. I was obsessed and I wanted to be that Van Damme guy.
Jiu Jitsu is a game of human chess. One wrong move and it is all over. Watch this incredible triangle choke finish.
So, episode whatever, we had a little hiatus from the podcast. It was my fault because I've been busy, which isn't cool. But it's good because we get Paul for the 30th anniversary episode. And we should have started with you anyway, really, Paul, given this is, all thanks to you. You're bloody too. We were just talking about your introductions to martial arts. So, start again.
Start again.
Yeah, please.
Where did I start? 1980s something or other. So that time that was a time when you would play at your mate's house, you'd all cycle your bikes outside, and it was like everything you'd watched in the 80s movies. And I kind of miss seeing kids do that. Now I see a couple of kids running around doing it, but it's not like it used to be.
No, it's not.
And there would be, honestly, around where I grew up, which is my parents still live in the same house in Marlow Bottom, and there would be like 20 of us riding our bikes, running around the woods. And we played video games and stuff like that as well. But what we were doing a lot when we were quite young was getting our parents to run to the shop to rent movies for us, or we also had pirated VHS movies. And a lot of the pirated stuff was all the Van Damme stuff that was starting to come out then. So that was Bloodsport, AWOL, Kickboxer, Best of the Best, and all these movies I would honestly love to chat about like all day. But then we'd all go out into our back gardens and we'd start doing the moves on each other. So we'd try and do the jump spinning kicks like Van Damme and stuff like that. And it was kind of, I wouldn't say I was good at it, but I was just good at jumping around, I guess, being a stupid little boy. But I said to my parents, I want to do this. And so we started looking around. I can't remember whether I looked around, probably not because I was too young. But they came across the taekwondo class because that was, and because your mum used to teach taekwondo. And
we didn't teach it, but we did it. Yeah.
So taekwondo is the only thing that I was aware of that was around. And nowadays we talk about, Paul, why didn't you do Muay Thai and BJJ? I'm like, well, in 1986, 1987, that was not around here anyway. So I went along to a taekwondo class and actually really enjoyed it. And I got to start being the guy in the movies. And then as I got like a little bit older, I guess like 11, 12, like we were getting really into those movies. So if you go through like Bloodsport and you go through Kickboxer, well, in the woods behind my parents' house, I'd have the targets on the trees. Like, this is so bad. But they were set up exactly like the Kickboxer movie. So in Kickboxer, he trains in the woodlands and he sets these targets up on this thing. And there was I know the tree. I know where it is. All the targets were on that tree. And this is like 1987, 88. I was obsessed and I wanted to be that Van Damme guy. And we were doing a lot of taekwondo. But the thing is with taekwondo is that I was enjoying the kicking part and I was enjoying like the pad work and the sparring, but I was kind of less enjoying learning the terminology and that stuff. So I went from there as an early teenager. I went and found a kickboxing school, and I wasn't looking for kickboxing, although Kickboxer the movie, but there was an advert in Wickham Star, which was the newspaper at the time. I remember that, and I remember the thing. It was kicking out for new members, and I read it, and I went down, and it was like thumping music, smashing pad work, sparring. I was like, this is what I've been missing. So as much respect as I had for the taekwondo, and it was great, that was for me.
That was where you started. So then as well, like, I often wonder with kids, so what age were you then around, Paul? Early teens?
Well, so taekwondo would have been, I'm thinking it was about 87. I looked at my certificates the other day. So I was born, there's someone to look at me the other day. They're like, well, at least I wasn't born in the 80s. I was like, yes, take that. So I was born in 79. So I think it was 87 I got my first certificate. So that's 8. Yeah. But then when I started, probably, let's say 6 months before that. But then I switched to kickboxing when I was about 12 or 13.
Okay, cool. And did you go through, because obviously I think a lot about when you go through that like early teens, etc. That's often, isn't it, when kids might get pulled into doing different things, but you end up, you competed a lot, didn't you? So like, it's obviously you kind of stayed the track with that. Did you have to sacrifice kind of other stuff in your life so much? You know what I mean?
If people would realize what you have to sacrifice if you want to be good at something,
yeah.
I don't think people have a clue. And I think people look at those who are successful on Instagram or online content or something like that, and you don't realize the story of what that person's gone through to be good, even if it's just good at selling this drink we're drinking or something like that. You don't know what that guy's gone through to really sacrifice that. And I'm not saying I sacrificed because I enjoyed doing it, but I would train every day, like relentlessly, not just in the woods, not just out running, but like I would be at training one way or another for hours and hours and hours. My parents must have, I've got so many funny stories. My parents helped me out a little bit. They kind of converted the garage a bit into like a little mini gym, but it had like a punch bag there, and it had a stretching machine. And this stretching machine was like, it was basically like 2 skateboards on a track that you'd hold like a bit of metal, I guess, and you stand on each skateboard and it would just come apart. So you'd end up in this, and my mum would just come out, look at her teenage son being weird in the garage, and she'd just shake her head and then just walk back in the house again. But it was, people start going out and stuff kind of when they're 17, 18, and like everyone else, I did exactly the same. So I was out and I was enjoying myself, but I was still, I was a black belt by 16, 17.
Wow.
But the competing side of it, I didn't really start till I was like 22. So I enjoyed training, but I also enjoyed going out of my mouth for a couple of years. But it got to like 22 years old, and I was like, right, now I really want to compete. Like, I want to have a shot at this. So then I remember I spoke to my coach at the time, and there's so many names I want to say, but I don't want to miss anyone. But I spoke to Del Sampson at the time, who was my main coach, and I said, look, I'm really keen. I will give everything into this. So I'm going to stop going out, and I'm going to compete. So that's what I did for another 10 years after that, I guess. Yeah.
Amazing. And we'll circle back around to it, but then your training was still every day, mainly going up to Wickham to your kickboxing class. So at that point, had it moved to
more? Yeah, I drove to Dudley, Stourbridge in the West Midlands, every Saturday for, Del Sampson, if you ever watch this, how many years? 8 years, I guess. That my life was in the West Midlands, because that's where at the time there was like the young hot group of guys,
right? And
they were all the hot young talent on the circuit. So if you wanted to train with anyone, you go and train with them. You have to go there. And there were some really good guys in Wickham as well. But it's kind of weird because there was like one team was like the Midlanders team, but it happened to be my main coach was one of the coaches of that. And then the other, like the rival team, which was Team SWAT at the time, were the guys from Wickham, really. So although it just ended up weirdly, I was driving to Birmingham, but they were my family, they were my buddies, and my life was with them very much. And then I was like the trader, so I was the one guy that eventually left that team to join the other team, because as I got older, these guys were right here in Wickham. It just made total sense, and they were weirdly. Like any sport, the tournament circuit is quite a closed thing. Everyone knows each other. Everyone's pretty much pally with each other anyway. So I just kind of moved a little bit closer to home.
Were there many tournaments? Was it like in the
every weekend?
Was there really? Because I seen with jiu-jitsu it's different now, but like early days of jiu-jitsu, there was like 5 a year if you like.
No, there's crazy. It's every weekend. You could compete every weekend if you want. And most weekends there'd be like 2 or 3 you could even choose from. Because there'd be one up north, one in the middle, one down south somewhere. But But we competed all over the place. And then I started competing internationally. And then I found that your kind of friendship group changes again. So you end up with a friendship group that's an international group of competitors. And you end up almost like a traveling circus going around with these guys. And then I was traveling a lot. I trained in America a fair bit because I realized to take it to the next level, just to enjoy myself, got to go and train with those guys. So I went and trained in New York, Los Angeles, and stayed out there and trained with those guys.
On your competition, I was just in my head about that. Struck a memory with me. You talking? I almost called him Paul Daniels. Very different person.
That's the beautician.
I know you didn't train kickboxing.
Who's his wife?
Debbie McGee.
Debbie McGee.
I know Paul Daniels is no longer with us, is he? Bless him. Don't know about Debbie McGee.
Don't know. Could Google it.
Could Google it, yeah. But you didn't do kickboxing with Paul Daniels?
No, I'm not sure Paul Daniels did kickboxing.
Raymond Daniels.
So I went and I stayed with Raymond. I know Raymond. Raymond's a kickboxing legend.
He is, mate. So for anyone who doesn't know did you know who Raymond Daniels is? Yeah. Mate, he's got to be him and MVP, right? Their highlight reels are like the best. Sorry, interject.
Well, Raymond Daniels. So Instagram is RD Goat. Greatest of all time. GOAT. Shouldn't have to spell that out. But Raymond Daniels is he's glory world champion. Yeah. But he was very much a point fighter. But he won the Irish Open. Irish Open for point fighting is like the tournament to win. And there's an open weight division, absolute division. But sometimes you'd have 200 guys in this one division. So to win that one division against 200, it's only one round each time, right? Yeah. But to win against 200 other guys, so to win it once is crazy. To win it twice in a row is obscene. To win it 3 or 4 times, it's just almost, it's unheard of. Raymond's won it 13 times. no one beats this guy. Yeah. And if they do, they have to be absolute top of their game. So what he did is he came over first time in 2003 to Europe. And he was so far ahead of everyone else in Europe. I'm going to insult all the European fighters here. But I think if they look back, they'll agree. It kind of, all of Europe had to up their game because of him. So he came over and he changed the sport. So again, he was one of those guys that's like, I had to go and train with that guy.
Yeah.
Although he's so much better than me.
But you're just on a competitive front as well, because especially people who are more recent to the gym might not realize just how big a part of your life that was. But like in terms of your accolades and your achievements, or anything like standout moments for you, be it individual matches or actual titles? And
it's a good question. There's quite a lot, but I never considered myself, I wasn't one of the best in the world. I was one of those guys that was traveling around having a really good time doing it. And anyone who watches this was on that circuit. I enjoyed that life. I enjoyed that friendship group. I've got so many good memories of being in the parties with these guys and having a great time with them. And I really enjoyed all the competing side of it. There's some great memories from Belgium. There was a guy I beat in Belgium that was like a really good memory of mine. Everyone will know who he is. But it's not really about beating people. When I look back, it's the time I spent with the people. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I got to the age when I was like 33. And I started looking at my buddies who were 10 years ahead of me, and they've all had hip replacements and detached retinas and shoulder operations and all this stuff. And I was looking at them and I was like, oh, that's kind of my future in 10 years' time. So I thought, whilst my body's in one piece, I'm probably going to chop this.
Yeah.
So, but that was sad because it's kind of my social life.
Yeah.
I think. But I traveled abroad so many times doing it, and that was my whole life, was just, when can I travel next? When can I travel next? And I loved it.
But then alongside that, given its 30-year anniversary of the gym,
yeah, I was busy.
You were busy. Yeah, you were busy. And in between that, you had another career as well, that I forget about. So when did you start the gym, and how did it start, essentially?
So I started, I was helping out in my club in Wickham, which is this kickboxing club that I went to. And I started helping the club out a bit and teaching a bit. And I found I was really enjoying it. I was enjoying getting the music right for the session and things that people weren't really thinking about so much at the time, which is not just about the martial art, but it's about, we're looking at David with the city glasses on.
It's
the porn star glasses.
And then I like them. It's rock and roller vibes. Who's that actor in Rock and Roll?
Rock and Roller?
Yeah, and they're wonderful.
As in the Guy Ritchie film?
Yes.
Don't know.
Good chat.
Anyway, I put these on because it makes these lights look nice.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, nice.
You look great, David.
You do.
Where was I? So I've lost my thread now.
We were talking about you're starting the gym, you're helping.
Oh, yeah, but it started.
Yeah.
So I started helping out coaching, but I realised I was really enjoying it. I was really enjoying it. And I thought I could open a club if I open a club in Marlow, like it could give me some pocket money.
Yeah.
But I never thought of it as a financial thing.
There was nothing here, I assume.
There's nothing. There was a few. There was like a little karate kid or something like that. So I went to my parents and I said, I need some flyers. So on Word 95 or whatever, I did my little flyer and I printed them off using we're going to go back now, damn if you, dot matrix printers. Oh, yeah. Do you know what they are? So that was the old crappy printers. So I printed off all my flyers from home. I did my flyer on Word 95 or whatever. And I went around the whole of Marlow and I flyer dropped everywhere. But the difference is I made a little website. And like a little rubbish landing page. So this is 1996. So I was ahead of the game, right? They were so respected. Like he's like, yes.
Join Paul's punching club.
Pretty much, but it was something. So people didn't look on websites for things back then. So they'd look in the yellow pages or they'd look on flyers or whatever. But so I did the flyer drop, but it had a website on the bottom of it. And
was that Genesis Gym?
It wasn't called Genesis then. It was Apollo Martial Arts, which was a part of the name of the place in Birmingham. So I got the flyers done and I opened it in Spinfield School. So it was in Spinfield School. I remember meeting the head teacher and saying I wanted to do this. And then I opened it the first class was the first, it was either Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to say, but I think it was Monday. So it was the first Monday in September in 1996. And the class opened and 60-something people turned.
No, really?
Because I made a website.
No way.
And then I was like, I think I've got something here.
Yeah.
Now, what I didn't realise is that I was charging £1.50 for the kids to come, and I was charging £3 for the adults to come because there was no money in martial arts.
No, yeah.
That's what we did. So it wasn't about money, but I realised there's a lot of people that I thought this is great. I'm making a difference here, and people are enjoying this. And then I made a website for the High Wycombe classes as well, and I was the only guy in Wycombe with a website for classes. So suddenly they started getting busy as more and more people started using the internet. Long story short, it started in Marlow with that class in '96, and it bounced around. It went from Spinfield School to Marlow Bottom Village Hall for quite a while. I've got photos of me doing flying kicks and things like that in there. But the old gym across the road here, that is the end result of what that class was.
I knew the internet was going to be big.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, wasn't it?
It's a good idea, the internet.
Tim Berners-Lee.
Hey?
Is he the one that invented the internet?
He is. Good knowledge.
He's got a lot to answer for.
He has, isn't he? Sausage. Oh, as a car.
As a car.
Yeah. So we're in the your office. Slightly different settings. So on that, when did I'm gonna chip in with my first memory of meeting you at some point actually, but like I don't want to cut out loads and like say fast forward, but no, in fact there is a bit that's important to segue in between this. You did have a actual career, didn't you? Away from martial arts, you had an actual.
I've blown Damo's mind with this. So I worked for the MOD for quite a long time. So I worked for the Ministry of Defence and I worked for the RAF, and I was doing IT for them. So I went pretty much everywhere. I wasn't bad at my job either. I was quite into it. So I went everywhere, but I was jumping at the opportunities. They're like, oh, we need someone to go to like Kuwait, or we need someone to go to like Canada or something. I'm like, yeah. Like sign me in. But the only thing that was keeping me back here was my martial art club.
Yeah.
To me, I had a responsibility to these people, and I didn't want to miss the classes. So they would kind of phone me up, going like, "We need someone in Canada tomorrow," and I'm like, "Oh, my classes." But I found a way, one way or another, we had them covered. And I did. I went to Kuwait twice. I went to Canada twice. I went to Cyprus. I went all over the place.
Yeah, I know.
But it was very much like this was where martial arts. No one did martial arts for a living. There was no such thing as a job in martial arts, but there was in America. So I was looking there, and if you go to America in the 90s, what they had was like a taekwondo school on every street corner, which has now become a Jiu Jitsu school on every street corner. We've taken over all the taekwondo ones. So they were ahead of us in business, but we had no business in martial arts. So people were looking at me like, I said, I want to try and copy them. I think we can do this. Obviously, my mum and dad were like, Paul's got a career, he's in the MOD. Like, why on earth would you stop that to go and do martial arts? Like, my mum was not happy. But there was something in me, and I was like, we deserve to do more. So where I was training in Wickham was basically like a pub hall, and I got so many amazing memories of training in there. I loved it. But I always say this, but people were smoking next to us. We were running around warming up as people, literally running through people's smoke as they'd watch us running around in a circle. I thought this deserves more. And because I started looking at how the Americans were training as well, I was like, these guys have got gyms. They got so many great things. Why don't we have this? And when I started going out to America to train, I'd come back and we're back in a squash court trying to squish our mats together, and the mats would slide apart and you'd fall on the floor again. And it was really frustrating. And I thought this deserves more. So what I did was I stopped my Ministry of Defence job. I remember that I stood there at the post box with my notice saying this is what, and I remember this is such a life moment.
Post box?
Yeah, post box. But this was my notice to the MOD. I was like, do I let it go in? Do I not? And I remember standing there going, is this the right thing? Yeah. So I'm gonna go for full-time martial arts, or I'm not. And I remember I stood there for 30 seconds, like, do it or don't do it, because it was a good job.
Yeah,
And I remember I let the letter drop, and I said, right, gone. And then I went and did a personal training course because I thought, why not just be a martial arts coach? Why not be a martial arts coach that doesn't just do the same crappy warm-up, that doesn't do what he's told, that learns about muscle groups, the energy systems, and learn about more and be a better coach, be a better person, and not better person, but be a more knowledgeable coach.
Yeah.
So I went into a personal training course, and I was it was a guy called Corey Kane that influenced me to do that, because he was one of very few people that knew what he was doing with fitness and martial arts. So I was like, he's onto something. So go and become a good fitness guy that knows what he's doing and who can do martial arts. And then I started my first professional club up in 2005. And even then, people were still charging £3 a class. What I did, I was one of the first guys to go monthly. I copied the American system. I was like, right, let's just charge monthly. And then that way you can kind of roughly predict what's coming in next month. It was still only £30 a month. But it was a start. And then I had regular income coming. And then what built up over the years, because of my website in Wickham, was I had 150 odd people training in a school hall in Wickham, which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I had 40 kids in the class, then another 40 people arrived, then adults arrived, there's 50 in the... I remember at one point, Matt Vladar will remember, as well Raj and many others that are in this gym, in one adult class, I'll have 60 to 80 people getting taught in one class, which in a school hall back then was just unheard of. And then it got to the point where it was so busy, I was like, we need a unit, let's go for this. And it was either going to be my house deposit or it was going to be the gym. And again, it was one of those life moments. And I have gone through so many of these life moments going, is this the right thing to do? And I'm sitting here right now thinking the same thing. But I was like, oh, house deposit or gym? And I thought, I've got to do this. I've got to do this. And it was such a risk. And the gym over the road above Cooper's, it was such a dump when we took it. It took all the money I needed to make it happen. That was it. So we jumped in and it stopped me renting these school halls because school halls are quite a lot of money to rent. Yeah. And for the same price, you can rent that place. Yeah. So that was the decision. And the first day we ran it, I obviously moved the 150 people out of Wickham straight in. So I was busy straight away.
Any actions pretty much?
No, everyone was like, this is wicked. And then the first person knocking on the door to become the first new member was Mr. Matt Helling.
That's mad, isn't it?
So space was at the window, like, let me in.
And when was that? What year was that?
2012. Well, so Christmas 2011, I remember on New Year's Eve on 2011, I was painting the stairwell and I was literally there at the turn of midnight and I looked at again, this is, people don't know what it takes. I remember looking at my phone at 12 o'clock, carry on painting the stairwell sort of thing. That was New Year's Eve, but I got it open for the 2nd of January. Yeah. So January 2012 was when it opened and then that was the day one.
Day one. So I'm trying to think, so I grew up on the bottom estate, right? So you'd come out the back alley, walk up.
An area I know quite well now.
An area you know quite well now. But I must have been away at uni. I can't remember exactly, and come back for Christmas. But I remember my brother. So I'd been doing jiu-jitsu for a while at that point. And my brother going to me, there's a martial arts gym up the road. And I was like, oh, is there? Oh, really? No way. And it's so funny. Because stop me if I'm wrong, when you first opened, you didn't do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, did you?
Yeah, so we didn't straight away.
No.
I realised I couldn't teach every night because I was going to burn out. So I spoke to Rich Salter, who's in here.
Oh, of course.
He was the only guy that I knew that did anything else.
Yeah.
And I said, do you want to do like an MMA class? Yeah. So I'll do kickboxing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I'll do like a fitness thing Saturday morning. I'll do all I can, but I'm burning out here. Yeah. Like, do you want to? So he took Wednesday nights and we did an MMA. So it was, and then a guy called Chad. Love you, Chad. Miss you, buddy. Chad was our wrestling coach. So nice. I say he was our wrestling coach. He basically just turned up and then he was very evident straight away. He was good at that. So we're like, cool, you can do a class. Then we had like wrestling Tuesday or an MMA Wednesday, something like that. So we had like a little hybrid of things, but it was predominantly my kickboxing club.
Yeah, got you. And I remember thinking, God, I'll go and stick my head in then. And it is funny, the memories, like, I can't remember if you came. I think I went up the side stairs.
Yeah, around the back
stairs. Yeah,
that's right.
And it's a very like faint memory, but it was you. I remember like coming up like probably any other punter and just be like looking around, but you going, "Oh, you're right." And I was like, "Oh, how are you?" And you were like, "Are you interested in?" No, I was like, "Oh yeah, I was just wondering if you do X, Y, Z." But I can't remember the full thing now. I'm butchering it a bit, but I remember I said about whatever, and I remember you were like, well, have you done anything before? And I was like, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And it's really weird. I can't remember the rest of the conversation, but I definitely got a feeling that you were like, you don't know what that is. Like, as if you're like, you were, what is that? Yeah, yes. I got the feeling you were kind of like, I don't think that's what you do. But anyway, because no one really did it that much around here then, did they? And then I went off to university. And then it's mad, isn't it? It's just like I moved to London or whatever, but I was training with Kev and then London. And then it's funny how things align that like I met Pax in London or whatever. But
yeah, this is his fault.
yeah. Geez, yeah. So 2012. And then, so that was Jiu-Jitsu, Pax and Chris, obviously, then pretty much the same time, was it?
So I happily say these names with fondness as well. So Paxton arrived. I remember his email. Honestly, there's been 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
We've got 600 active now, one way or another. So, over the years, it's been 30 years. Like pick any moment in time and there was hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So it's easily 10,000 people. I remember pretty much all of them. So I remember Paxton's email coming in and his email was, I'm a 2 or 3 stripe purple belt.
Yeah.
I'd love to teach a class. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. Is that good? Is that not good? Sounds quite impressive. I don't know. And so I said to Rich, I was like, he seems like a nice guy, Paxton, so have some eyes on him. What do you think? And I spoke to Rich after class. He's such a great guy. I really loved him. He definitely knows what he's talking about. I was like, okay, this is interesting. But I thought, I need to speak to Kev, because I knew Kev was the guy around here. So it was Pax's email. Pax came down, and I remember Paxton, hopefully he watches this or not, but I remember him doing the MMA class, and he was punching and kicking and doing his stuff. And I booked a one-to-one with Paxton, because I was the same age. This was now when I stopped my competition stuff. So I was like, right, I'm going to stop competition. What shall I do instead? I went and bought, I got a gi out of stock, one of the really old rubbish Blitz gis they had at the time. Don't ever buy a Blitz gi, sorry, Blitz. And funny story about that. So Sarush was sparring in a Blitz gi, and one arm came off, and then the other arm came off. So he looked like something out of Street Fighter. For these two arms came off. So I got one of the Blitz gis out of stock, and Pax did a one-to-one with me. So I was like, right, now I'm in, I'm interested. But I spoke to Kev, and I was like, oh, we need to do this the right way, but I'm interested. You know, can we run a jiu-jitsu class here? What do you think about it? And he said, yeah, wicked. Look, I've got a brown belt in the area who's Chris Clear, and we'd love Chris to come and I'll come down on the first one, and I'll help organise it, and we'll get Chris and Pax to kind of do it together. And then that was it. So the first night, the first 3 guys in the room was me, Dave Knight, Matt Helling.
Dave turned up as well, just randomly.
Dave was already. David already. So I remember Dave turning up, and I spoke to Dave, and he's like, look, I'm kind of stopping my rugby. I'm looking for something. I don't even know what I'm looking for. What can I do?
I need to smash.
And so I kind of looked at him. I was like, well, Dave, I hate to break it to you, you're not a spring chicken. So I said, this kind of jumping, spinning, back kick thing is probably not going to be for you, mate. But I said, like, we're doing a bit of wrestling. We're doing a bit of MMA. I said, why don't you have a look down this avenue? Like, I think there's something for you here. I don't know much about it, but I'm honest. I'm the kickboxing coach, but have a look. There's something for you. So Dave and Matt started in MMA, and we even did like a little grading with them. I've got a photo of them where they're doing an MMA grading. It's wonderful. One day I'll dig it out. I think, have they got a yellow belt? Have you got a yellow belt, guys? I can't remember. Anyway, so Dave and Matt had already done a little bit.
Yeah.
But obviously we were right in for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And it was Dave, Matt, me, Richie Townsend, and a few other guys on day one. And from day one, me, Matt, and Dave especially, Dave takes it a bit more seriously. We know that. Matt and I, not so much. But to me, that was and Richie Townsend as well. To me, that was the aspect that kept me in it from those early days, because I could stick my finger in Matt's ear and he'd probably bite my thumb. But I would get so much out of it as a team building thing, as a thing that I get to have a group of guys around me. I can say I went through a divorce when I was in 2014, and if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu, I don't know where I'd be. That literally kept me going. It was one of the hardest moments of my life, as it was, unfortunately, for other people around me. And it was jiu-jitsu that kept me. So in all these hard moments, and it's not the only hard moment in my life, it has been jiu-jitsu, and it has been the guys around me, for sure. And it has given me so much. And so, yeah, I'm thankful to Pax and to Chris and to Kev and all these guys that made it start.
Getting it all going. It's mad, isn't it? You saying that about the taekwondo and karate in the States and how they've all essentially, on the whole, right? I mean, taekwondo and karate is still big, aren't they? But it was this huge boom.
It was everywhere. Every street corner. I remember driving through LA. Every, like I say, street corner out of like, but every block had a taekwondo school. And
then when I was in, this is a while ago now. This is when I was in LA last. It was exactly the same. I was there with name dropping. I was there with Bushesha, and we started at like Checkmat HQ. And then he was literally going, like, driving like 20 seconds. Like, oh, that's Joao Asis's gym, like world champion. He was like, oh, that's Leo's kids' gym. If you had a gym that's just for kids, that was such a lovely facility, and it was boom, 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 boom. But I don't know. Obviously, you've been in the game for so much longer, and there's always space for everything, right? Here's testament to that. We've got like a thriving kickboxing, group of people who really drive that, but I don't know how much of a surprise it was for like the martial arts world when jiu-jitsu just arrived, and like, do you know what I mean?
I think it was a surprise for all the taekwondo schools.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But I mean, even for me, I remember when you see that and go, because like you say, your place would have been like the first proper academy round here, right? I guess. But now, if you look at it, we've got people.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, isn't it? And
there was here in Titans, so Titans in Witten, and we were the only two. So it was definitely the only one in Marlow. But it was built out of frustration of putting mats together in a squash court. They're training in the pub halls, but also out of the frustration of having all the school halls because it's so expensive to rent a school hall. They pay 50 quid by the hour, and that adds up pretty fast, right? If you're doing 5 evenings a week. So, but you need. It was always that martial arts deserved more to me because you'd look at how the professionals in any other sport train.
Yeah.
And then why does martial arts have so much less? Like if I go and play tennis, looking at someone who plays tennis over there, you go and play tennis in nice facilities, and you go and play rugby in nice facilities, and you go and play football in nice facilities. But why does martial arts, why is it in a scout hut or a bingo hall? And no disrespect to those places. And there's always a place for grassroots clubs to build from out of these, and they have to start somewhere. But why are all the martial art clubs in these kind of places?
Yeah.
Why don't they have professional facilities? And that was my frustration from 96 onwards. Definitely when it got to like 2000, because I could start seeing how the Americans were doing it. I was like, why don't we have that?
Yeah. What I've noticed more here than even over the road, but I think it really seems to reduce the sort of barrier for entry for some people who have a pre-perceived idea of what a martial arts gym is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, when they find out like what I do for fun, they assume it's all like chest beating and a real like, tough environment, when in fact it's far the other way, really.
It's mostly nurse.
It's mostly right. It's like the irony is
3 around this table. Yeah.
I was like, it's more like me genuinely. I was joking with might have been James Parkinson with it. Like I started going to the gym, and I'm like, I find that more intimidating than when I, go to like jiu-jitsu schools. I was like, because I don't know what I'm doing, and everyone in my head's walking around with a little bit of a,
But I'm still that boy who's in the woods doing his kicks against me. And I'm still there. And I don't think I ever grew up. I still play Lego. I still do my martial arts. Like I'm still the same kid I was when I was 10 years old, much to many people's dismay.
No, I'm trying to think now when it was post-COVID. So I moved back here, and then I'm trying to think when I first properly met you again. I think it was because I was coming down and I knew Chris, and then introduced to you. And then you were very kind to say, do you want to train post-COVID, like bubble up? But that's kind of when I got to know everyone. And like as an outsider, I did realize quite quickly it was because I've been to a lot of schools, but like how it was a really nice group of people.
Well, we knew you as the media guy because every grade it occurs, you're the guy taking the photos. So that's how I knew you. And then obviously COVID happened, and then you're living at the end of the street.
Yeah, no,
and then during COVID, I remember the first time of COVID, like I couldn't do anything. I was going out. I'd run with the dog once a day. I think you're allowed to one walk a day,
something like that, wasn't it?
Or something like that. So I remember that one. But then in the second round, I was like, if I don't train, like stuff's going to go wrong in here fast. And again, it goes back to what jiu-jitsu's done for me. And I say jiu-jitsu, and I'm not alienating kickboxing. It's just that my body can't do it.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just my body is now refusing to do kickboxing anymore. So, but I can still do jiu-jitsu to a point. So I was like, if I don't train, like if I don't have this time with my guys, I'm going to lose the plot, I think. So, we hooked up as a bubble, didn't we? And I remember we spoke to all the other partners as well, so they all kind of knew about it. And they were like, right, as long as it's just you guys, and I'm pretty sure, like, I know Dame over there had his bubble and we had our bubble. And man, I think we got pretty fit in our bubbles, didn't we?
We did. I was actually thinking about this the other day.
Didn't learn anything new.
I was thinking about this the other day as you get a bit older and, like you said, injuries, etc. There was a real sweet spot there for a while, I think, where we were all training pretty hard, actually. It was good fun, wasn't it? But then, okay, so I don't want to fast forward straight to right now we're here. But at what point did you think you need to move again? You need to take...
Well, I think we all felt that because it was so busy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I feel that what we had across the road, because do you know what? This has been a roller coaster year, hasn't it?
Yeah,
you've been involved in all of this.
Yeah.
This entire... I thought we'll open the new gym and everything will just be fine. It'll be straightforward. Yeah, should have known, shouldn't I? It has been an absolute roller coaster year, but in some things we're just, there's no blueprint for this kind of gym.
No.
Is there? Like we've chucked stuff out there, and some stuff has worked better than we thought, and some stuff has just not worked as much as we thought. But ultimately, we've just got to kind of try these things. Doesn't work. Try this thing. Oh, that works really well, and we're trying all these different things. But when we were at the point over there, I feel that what we had wasn't sustainable. And ultimately we had one area, and we had a kickboxing community and a jiu-jitsu community, and I love them both. And they both kind of needed more, and I'd walk into jiu-jitsu on a Monday night and I'd be in there as well till 9 o'clock at night, no problem. But there'd be 40 people in the room. The aircon's barely breathing. The roof is just giving up. Outgrew, he's laughing there. We outgrew that facility so fast. But the kickboxing guys were the same. They were having 20. Because when you're doing kickboxing sparring, you need a lot more mat space than arguably you're doing jiu-jitsu sparring, because a lot of the time jiu-jitsu, you roll around on the floor. So the kickboxing guys, if they had 20 guys in the room, it was maxed. Jiu-jitsu, we were ramming 35, 40 on Monday nights, and sometimes.
It was the smell. When you come up the stairs, you're like, it's busy today.
So I think we can only do one class at a time, but it also means we were losing good coaches all the time, because people would come in and they'd be like, look, I want to try and earn from this. And it's not really been about trying to help people with martial arts. It's been able to give people an opportunity to have a career in martial arts as well, because no one gave me that. I had to figure it out and find it and fight for it. And I believe now you can have a career in martial arts coaching. I think it's genuinely there. And if I see someone, and you're the same, like we see these guys that we want to bring in and then build them up. But if you're only teaching one class at a time, we've got 35 staff here now, which is mind blowing, right? There's like nearly 15 odd coaches. So it was only ever one matted area. It could never be more than that. And so what we had was something, I think, would always go back to me teaching every class in a full cycle at one point, because you just lose all the coaches. Or someone would come along and open a bigger martial arts gym next door, and then it's done for. So I think what we had was only ever going to go wrong. So I was giving nothing away. I was on the phone to my accountant the other day. He's like, do you regret doing this? And I was like, nah, not one bit. Because what we had, although I loved it with all my heart, would always have gone wrong eventually.
Yeah.
Whereas this, like, I look back and I talk about the 10,000 odd people. Like you've seen so much of this now. I've seen it all. I've seen relationships start, relationships end. I've seen marriages start. I've seen marriages end. I've seen babies arrive, and we've seen people die as well, which is awful. But there's this huge kind of community thing, and in the last year alone, there's been a few people go, which is really sad. And I look at these things, I'm like, what have we done for these people? Have we done some good? Did we change their life? Did we make them a little bit happier? Like, you don't know, Damon, I went through a divorce and I was struggling to make training every night, and Matt licking his thumb and sticking it in my ear made my day. These little things. So what we do for people is, I know it's a good thing. And what we've got here is something that if we do it right, if you and I get this darn thing right, we can leave this for 50 years, 100 years. This warehouse is going to go probably nowhere anytime fast. We will go before the warehouse does. And it can stay here forever. Whereas that would have closed in 10 years, 15 years, whatever.
Yeah.
So
on every level, actually, you look back, because you can't help it, can you? Like, change. I'm a bit of a weird. Well, I say weird. I mean, Damo, you're probably of this.
You're weird.
Yeah, I am weird, and I don't really like change. No. Like, I really don't like.
I'm discovering a lot of you lot don't.
So it is. There are things you don't consider, like, but you realize it's absolutely stuff that had to happen. But like, I think to yourself, yeah, God, people want to be able to train more than 2 nights a week if you're at a full-time jiu-jitsu school, and the kickboxers want to train more than 2 nights a week. What you don't consider with that is then when you have, because it was like, these are the classes we offer, everyone's going massively out of their way to herd into these opportunities. What you don't realize, and it's not a bad thing, but it's like, I'm like, I haven't seen such and such for ages. It's like, it's because they actually really struggled to make that evening, and now they've got a better option. But on the selfish part, I'm like, that's a shame. But but that's how it is. And then you gain other people.
But now we lose less people, because the guys who can't make Monday, Wednesday can now come Tuesday,
exactly
Thursday.
That.
And even if they get a bit stale of jiu-jitsu, they can go and try Thai boxing, or they can go try kickboxing. If they get a bit stale of Muay Thai, they can come and try jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So we've got the ability to hold on to a community a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes without saying, this place is amazing. Like,
yes,
it blows my mind that we've got this place. So I looked at this exact unit. I looked at this in 2011 where we took that one, and I was looking at this, and this was vacant at the time, and I was like, man, that's the one. That's the one. And I say it's the one because, like, most of these, this is comparatively small for a warehouse. So most of these warehouses are normally mid-terrace. They don't have windows. So this has got windows all the way around. It's got the footfall outside. It's got the entrance on the side. It's the exact kind of square footage you want it to be financially and stuff. You can't afford a 30,000 square foot gym. So it was the perfect unit, and I watched it become a print place and all that kind of stuff. And then, the story is really, we were looking at units, weren't we? And then suddenly I saw it on, like, one of the Marlow Facebook groups that the print company had gone bust. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I remember running over here to have a look. So this was the unit, and it blows my mind that I pull up outside and I see this place.
Oh, same, yeah. And then, to be honest, I mean, it's one of those as well where you can't. I think you more than anyone, and I've seen it firsthand. You know, as I've got more involved, you kind of carry the burden of it more. I say the burden, sorry, the stresses of it is what I meant.
Yeah, that's because I carry every stress really bad.
I know you do, but you do have to take stock sometimes, don't you? Like, I don't get to come in here very often, like early in the mornings. And the other week I was in here early in the morning, and I think it's the only ever time I've been in here where I felt like it was just me in the building.
It's great though.
Which was bizarre, and actually a really nice moment, because I just sort of had a little look, you know, just sort of sit there. It's very quiet. I think Phoebe was here, but she was doing something somewhere. And I was like, to your point, I was like, this place is pretty fucking cool, to be honest. Like, you know, you know, there's lots of stuff or moving parts to everything, isn't there, as things get bigger. But it is a really special place from that perspective. And, you know, I feel very lucky.
I always think, sorry, it's no business having this in Marlow.
That's, yes.
Weird about it.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense. But it's in Marlow.
Yeah, I know. I even said it, you know, we have people, it is funny that there are people who come through the gym, you know, like people for seminars or whatever. And I always find it funny when I'm saying that to them, like, oh yeah, here's the address, it's Marlow. Thinking they're probably like, well,
Where is that?
what is that? Like, you know, think, what, London? I'm always like, it's just outside London. It's pretty much London.
But it's perfect in so many ways, because you got, I'm not trying to just make it an advert for the gym, but you got like the motorway right there, the dual carriage there, the other motorway there. So geographically, it's just on point.
Yeah.
But it's in Marlow, it's my hometown.
Yeah.
I moved to Marlow when I was three and a half. My mum and dad still live in the same house. My sister lives with them in that house. Yeah, they doubled the size of the house. But my whole life has been in Marlow one way or another. So that's when the old unit came up. It came up at £2.50 a square foot because it was in such a bad nick.
Well, that's what people I forgot that until I actually went and looked around what Flow have done to it the other day.
Done great.
They've done it out so nicely. It was lovely looking around. But it's funny the things you forget. I walked in and looked right, and my instinct was like, wonder if that wall's still about to fall down. You know, because it was literally, I remember coming up one day and you'd be like, don't touch the wall. Yeah. Which wall was like that massive exterior wall.
That was a bad year.
That was a bad year. And you're like, oh yeah, you do forget. And you're right, like stuff like, you look at it now, you come in and you got the coaches all doing their opportunity. Like you say, that is a big important thing. You like the coaches being able to earn a living. Like you couldn't, one-to-ones in particular, I see so many guys now being able to come and coach and do that.
Right now, like as
right now,
biggest here.
Yeah.
I walked in at 9 this morning and there was 2 one-to-ones.
Because I came in and John, Ongi and Jason are all
3, sorry.
one-to-one, yeah. And that's great, isn't it? It's so nice.
But you've made that happen for them. And now their mortgage is paid by doing something they lived at.
Yeah.
And hopefully that can just keep growing. And like year one, it's always going to be like, of course. Let's just hold on to the roller coaster and kind of see where it goes and ride it out. But in 5 years' time, it's going to be, you know, we're going to have really found our way. And in 10, 20 years' time, it's just going to be a memory that we built this. To all the guys coming, you know, we wouldn't be doing it without you guys. And, you know, if no members, no club, right? And so, we're working our backsides off, but we also, you know, I also realize everyone is still coming in here and paying. And if it wasn't for all of you guys on the camera, then it just wouldn't be here. So everyone involved has made this happen. And I really hope they can, if they do listen to this far into this, that they listen to this and then go, I was a part of that and I made that happen and I made it a reality for the next 100 people in 100 years' time, that they can come and better their lives by doing it. And whether it's this is something else I wanted to talk about as well, it's the ripple effect. So when I do the socials, whether it's the Christmas party or the summer party, you will see me stand in a corner and kind of go a little bit shy. Something like I realize I'm not that shy at Christmas parties and things, but I take stock for a minute. Because I look around, it was very much when the summer barbecue, I looked at this. You watch 2 kids playing, but those 2 kids wouldn't have known each other if it wasn't for this place, because they do the class together. Now, you don't know if they're going to be best man at each other's weddings in 30 years' time. So that you could create a friendship for life out of that. But then you look over and then those 2 groups of parents are then talking, but those groups of parents only know each other because their 2 kids then come here. So you've got those guys talking, and that's then a friendship, and they could be helping each other through their problems in life. You just don't really know. And when you stand and you look around at all of this happening, you're like, man, this ripple effect is wild. And when you've got 600 people training, cool, that's one thing. But then look at what else is going on the outside of that. And then you multiply that by the next 20 years and like what we can do. This is why I feel like we've got to just all the little things that wind ourselves up, all the little things that annoy us about the shower being blocked or someone not turning up on time or someone was late for their class or did a bad job. It doesn't really matter. Like, that's just because in 30 years' time, we're going to do so much.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And I'm with you on that, like, just sort of selfishly. When I think about when I started doing jiu-jitsu, or just like I don't know, like, so when I was in London, I don't know, I feel like, it's not a criticism of the place at all, but I felt very much like it was a lot about, there's a lot, like, Roger was like in his prime. Roger himself was like, competing, and it was like real high level kind of like competitive stuff going on as so I didn't really notice as much when I was in the moment about how much of the friendships I was making. It sounds ridiculous, I wasn't really aware of it so much, and now
Because you're younger, you're less.
bit, but I did make I did, but now when I'm coaching here, you're absolutely right. I was thinking that the other day, of like looking around and going, literally, like you say, I was like, I know these two met here and they're like really tight, or or I won't mention any names of people that I've still seen now that have like gone on and they're like blue, purple, brown belts, and if I'm honest, I'm kind of like, I didn't think they were going to stay actually, but they're like more than thriving, because it is hard as well, isn't it? That's what I think is great about this place. Is I feel like, again, we use that term, I feel like we've reduced the barrier to entry so much for something that I think has got such amazing benefits away from the physical side of things. With martial arts in general, like, I was talking to a student on a message about that the other day. I was just like, I don't do this for the physical side of things, even though I'm lucky because I don't like doing anything else. But it's not that. It's like you say, it's the headspace, and that's so important, isn't it? So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Feel very lucky with it. Do you have any like real standout moments since where you're like real highs,
Good or bad? Let's talk about the bad.
Well, you must have had some moments where you're like, I don't know if this is worth it. I guess.
Yeah, confused.
Yeah. And speaking the other way, should you do the ones where
It's not so much about that, because it's always worth it.
Yeah.
Because I can see the future of, not like I can see the future, but I can see what it can do for the future. So no matter how tough it is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Like, there will always, it's going to be just a moment in time, because it's been 30 years, but 30 years of me running the club, when I started martial arts long before that, really. And it's like, that's what I mean by the small things don't matter. So some days you arrive, you feel like, we've both got a cold, got each other's cold, thanks.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
So yeah, there's days and you're like, oh, his nerves up.
Kissing me, so
Extras. But yeah, the good moments, opening this place was amazing. But like, whilst the big things, I talk about this in life as well, like, people think that it's all about the big things, the weddings, the funerals, the marriages, the divorces, or whatever. It's actually about like waking up and walking your kids to school hand in hand, or just sitting and having a cuddle with someone, watching a movie, or like watching, I don't know, it's just like walking by yourself and watching how the tree moves. Like, actually, you get these little moments. My dad taught me many years ago. We were walking to school one morning, and he's like, I want you to like look around and just like remember every single little thing. He said, just take 20 seconds. He's like, remember what the sun feels like on your tummy. And I remember exactly where I was walking. I was probably only 9, 10. I remember that. I remember the path. I know the exact moment in the path. I remember the feeling of the sun on my tummy. So I remember these, but it was just a little moment.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big thing in life. So whilst the big memories are opening this place, which was incredible, and opening the old gym as well. There's a photo of me with very dark hair, cutting.
Still got hair, mate.
Still got hair, so yeah, I'm holding in there. So there's those big moments. There's the big moments of the gradings, getting my black belt with Matt, getting the gyms opened. But if I'm honest, like, I don't want to belittle those moments, but it's about the little moments. It's like sharing a laugh with my buddy. It's about sticking a finger in someone's ear because it made him laugh. Or a kid coming up to me who's like 5 years old, be like, that person doesn't shout at me anymore. Like, I remember someone telling me that. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, watching a kid just laugh, like the little giggles of children and stuff like that. Like, to me, those moments, and there's countless. Absolutely. I also remember a child at a party banging his head on the door as hard as he could multiple times, running over and sinking his teeth into my legs. So that was a
low point. Yeah, you got more restraint than me. I would have got roundhoused if I knew how to. I myself was into the same movies as you, but No, but you did meet Van Damme, didn't you?
I did meet he was not having a good day at the time.
Oh, they say don't meet your heroes, don't they?
That is definitely, well, my experience of that day was definitely don't meet your heroes day. Now, he might have had a great day the next day if you did not have a good day that day. And
Was that when he was between two palm trees?
Was it? I was going to say
between two tracks.
two trucks. He actually did that, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
They say it well. They say he actually did. I don't know. Do you rewind? You know that weird skateboard contraption you had in your shed in your garage? Kev will remember this. Kev Capel. So when I started training with Kev, do you know Neil McLeod? Yeah. So the old school JKD guy. Kev was teaching in Neil's gym in Aylesbury, which was actually, now I think about it, his own gym.
Yeah.
But I remember vividly, like I had been training that long. That was a blue belt, but going in to Neil's for the first session because I hadn't been there. I'd always trained. Kev would bounce around a bit, and he was like Sunday was at McLeod Academy, and I went in, and there was some fella like just there. Like I came in and just caught his eye straight off, and he's there with his legs full of kimber on what looked like a go-kart. 'Cause it had a wheel. You turned it.
Oh, I had one of them.
Yeah, so it was a wheel that turned and your legs got wider. But you know, when you walk in, I was like, am I in the right room?
Well, so do you remember?
Just turning this wheel with his legs.
So Christmases, would you ever go into the Argos catalogue and like write down your page this, right? So the Argos catalogue of martial arts was Martial Arts Illustrated.
Oh, mate.
And on the back, like dozen pages of Martial Arts Illustrated were mostly stretching machines to sell. And so you had the ones with the wheels. So I'm trying to like get people to see what this is. So you sit in a chair and you put your legs in front and you turn a wheel and it would slowly put your legs out to the side, right? So I couldn't afford the wheel one, so I had the skateboard one, which is like 2 scaffolding poles and 2 skateboards on a track. But I eventually managed to save up enough to have the handle cranked one, which is basically like the dodgy wheel one. So exactly the same, you sit in this chair and you crank this handle and slowly your legs are kind of pushed further. And like you can envisage me doing this like a 15-year-old lad, right? And you can imagine my mum coming down telling me like dinner's ready. So she comes out to the couch like, what is he doing?
What is he doing?
And then,
he's not out doing any harm, is he? He's on his little torture rack in the shed.
why is it just run after girls and try and kiss them like most normal 15-year-old boys?
I do. This isn't dissimilar, to be honest. I remember the same thing so I did taekwondo in Wickham with Dorian Byton.
Yep.
And you've told me his name was Kevin something. I think it's
Kevin Guy.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Kevin, he's never going to listen to this.
Mate, so this guy, Damo, to me, he was the coolest man in the world because he had like big, long dreads. He was a really good kickboxer. Good at taekwondo. And he was like, he'd do like spinning kicks and his hair would be flying around. I was like, oh my God, you're so cool. And I remember he went to Jamaica like on holiday. I went back home to see his family and he came back and he'd like bring me presents. He was so nice. But yeah, so I was doing taekwondo, but I was obsessed with weird, isn't it? How like I was obsessed with all the different kit. So like my headgear and that was red, but he had like these different coloured ones that I think might have even had like the Union Jack on.
Whoa, so with Kev Guy, he was one of the few taekwondo guys that was also doing kickboxing. Now this was frowned upon big time. So when I was doing taekwondo, and I definitely won't name drop because it's a bit negative, but the people I was doing taekwondo with were incredible traditionalists,
right?
Like she especially was so good. But if they found out you were training somewhere else, that would not be the thing. So whereas Kev, I know he was doing kickboxing with Corey Kane. So the guy, he mixed up his styles a little bit.
Right.
That, arguably, I would say that made him better in taekwondo competition because he had experience of fighting in a kickboxing.
Yeah, got you.
And it's the same thing now. Like I remember that it was that story then that because I was only a kid when this was going on. But I remember the disdain for being caught training somewhere else.
Yes.
And that's kind of stuck with me, which is why when we did all of this, I can't imagine telling someone you can't go try.
It's still the most bizarre. To be honest, it's the most bizarrely obvious thing. It's so obvious. Like, as in, if someone says you can't train somewhere else,
then just go and train somewhere else.
How obvious is that? How much clearer of a signal can you get than, oh, that's a bit weird. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I do.
But what's this is bigger picture? What are you doing for these people? How are you changing their lives? Well, why tell them they can only come here? It doesn't make any sense.
I can understand it. It's getting better and better. People are like, times changing, but I'd like, historically, the whole thing in Jiu Jitsu, the Krion-Shi term, it was a lot more tribal back then. But you do still get it, don't you? But I've got to rewind just so you're not the owner of a ridiculous story as well. So I was obsessed with all the kit you wore, and it must have been Martial Arts Illustrated as well. I thought it was something else, but there was a book with all of the stuff you could buy. And it was stuff that I wanted everything. So it was like, even though I don't know how to do any of it, like the kendo sticks. I was like, yep, that's cool. I want that. My mum was like, do kendo. But what I did order, I ordered an actual ninja costume. Yeah, but I remember getting it. I remember it arriving all excited. I was probably way older than I should have been. I remember trying it all on, looking at myself in the mirror and being like, I'm so cool. Fuck you doing? What are you doing? Like, you're not a ninja. Well, I took it off, folded it all up, and put it in the cupboard. And was like, "You're not a ninja, Callum."
Do you still have it?
No. But it's funny those things. I remember when I started list. Yeah, mate. But you have it. You're like, oh, that's a really good idea. I want to get it, and I put it on, and I feel like empowered. I didn't know what I was going to do with it.
Did it have the feet? The tabby boots?
It didn't know. It had it was. When you look back, it was.
Is it tabby boots when your toes are like this?
Yeah, the proper Ninja Turtle ones as well. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that sophisticated. But yeah, I do remember thinking like, fucking have a word with yourself. You're not a ninja, and you don't train ninjas.
So I did the same thing. So again, go through those magazines. They had. Do you remember cat's claws?
Yes, I do.
So I built my own cat's claws.
That was it Enter the Dragon with the cat's claws.
So cat's claws, for those who don't know, they're basically like a leather strap that goes around your hand, and they are curved prongs basically together. But the idea of them is you can climb trees like a cat. That's the idea of them. So the ninjas could scale the trees, and then you could assassinate people from the trees. So what I would do was I was in my parents' garage. My mum thought I was probably just stretching or being like a weird 15-year-old. What I was doing was using my dad's workbench to build my own cat's claws. And then you think about it, you're basically looking at nails sticking out of some kind of makeshift hand wrap, and then I'm trying to stick them in the trees to kind of.
That's sweet. I bought Sai, pair of Sai.
Yes,
I have size. I have size here. You had shuriken. I always wanted shuriken, but
Brother or broadsword.
more traditionalist.
Yeah.
I've got a broadsword tattooed on me now.
Have you? On your bum bum?
well, it's not my bum. It's a very little problem. So
No, it's an all right sized broadsword.
this is the Game of Thrones little. What's Ara's little sword called in Game of Thrones? Needle.
I don't know. I've not really watched Game of Thrones.
Have you not watched that?
I watched the first season, and I think I watched it like maybe someone where it made me feel a bit weird. So some weird stuff goes on in the first episode, and it was a bit weird.
It's not weird to everyone, Callum.
It's not true. But you are absolutely like in the right career, by the way. If you're building cat's claws in your bedroom and living in the woods,
It's my whole life.
Yeah, mate.
This people. Most of the time, I just sit on my laptop in the corner now. People think that this is to people that come in, like people who don't know me and don't know the gym, they think I'm like a business guy.
Yeah.
And they want to talk about businessy stuff. I'm like, I am not a business person. I've just survived 30 years of figuring stuff out the hard way. And I've learned stuff the wrong way as well. But I remember there were so many points people would tell me, people with more experience would tell me it's not going to work. That when we went through the first VAT barrier many, many years ago, they're like, you can't pay VAT. Here's the ways around it. Here's how to be cheeky. You're going to go bust if you pay VAT. Like, that's the end of your business. And people would tell me straight, you are going to fail. I'd be like, yeah, but I don't think I am. Yeah. I think we can do this. And then, that moment of putting that letter in the letterbox, and my mum was not impressed because you're giving up a career with a pension to go and do what? Like, someone pays you a couple of quid to teach martial arts. So there's been so many points at which people would say, you're going to fail, you're not going to make it. And, 30 years later, I'm still here one way or another. And it's not easy, but I can just keep finding my way through.
Yeah.
So I will find my way through this to the point where I am too old to be doing this. But I'm not a business person. I'm not a jiu-jitsu person. You don't see me doing online tutorials. There's millions of people out there better at jiu-jitsu than I am. But I do love what we do for other people. Yeah. And there's not many I know who do better at it than me.
No, mate. Yeah, fair play. I'm with you, mate. We're very lucky that you started it all off, and feel very grateful to be.
Well, I still want to be here when we do the 40th, and I still want to be here when we do the 50th. And then after that, who knows? Because I'm getting old.
We'll figure it out. We'll get in by hook or by crook. We'll have to install a chairlift.
I wonder how many years it'll be to the next one.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I worked out because there was the solar eclipse the other day, right? For whenever you're watching this. And then I think the next eclipse is in like 2090 or something like that. Was it about
30 years. Last was 1996.
1996, 99.
99. I remember the last one because I was in the OAD. I was in the car park for Headquarters Strike Command in Nat Hill, and I remember it. It was like day became night, and I remember the temperature suddenly went woof like this. So I remember that this one wasn't quite so good, was it? Because
I was teaching.
anti-dynamics.
I thought I was quite surprised. The class was quite busy. I thought it'd be like, but it got a bit dark, and we all ran out.
It was twilighty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it was because this is going out of the scope of this conversation, but the top of the sun was very much still there, sort of thing. So it wasn't, the 99 one was much better. Yeah. But I looked at Elsie and I was like, right, in the next one, you're going to be this old.
Yeah.
And she looked at me, she's like, but how old are you going to be, Daddy? I was like,
yeah,
I might not be watching it with you.
This will be brown bread for the next one.
Whoa, so I had to tell her, I was like, Daddy's not watching the next one with you.
Yeah.
So right.
Keep watching it from above.
Obviously, I then cried and she walked off, she's like, okay.
Well, you did get to a Spider-Man instead, didn't you?
I got 6-year-old cuddles in Spider-Man. It's all good.
Nice. Was there anything else you wanted to that we've forgotten? Any?
No, do you know what? I just want to take a minute to say thank you to everyone who's been a part of this, whether it's parents bringing a kid along, because I appreciate it. I know when people come to this place, like, we don't ask what's going on in your life for you to make this twice a week. Like, and we sometimes, like, people belittle someone who's coming once a week every week because, like, oh, coming enough, you're not going to be grading fast enough, you're only coming once. So you don't know what that person's going through to be here once a week. They could be going through absolute hell to make this every week. And we overlook stuff like that pretty easy.
Sure.
We overlook what parents go through to get the kids in a car to get them here.
We heard it up firsthand.
Well, and some people bring like 2-3 kids at the same time down here, and like the sheer logistics of getting their uniform ready. So if you're telling a parent off for getting a uniform, like if that parent's got 3 kids here and they picked them all up from school, sometimes one play group and then one different school, and remembered all the uniform and got them here and get them all fed and got them out of the car and got them into the gym. Like the stuff that parents go through to get their kids here, the stuff that people go through to support this place, whether it's an adult who comes here once a week, whether it's an adult who comes here 7 days a week, whether it's a parent who brings their kids here. I understand what people go through now. And I used to complain at like a parent for not getting their grading form in or time or something like that. And then I became a parent and there was just so much admin and life thrown at you. Like if you don't have kids and you have kids, you don't understand yet. You just don't. Like there is so much to do. Like now if a parent forgets to hand their grading form in or forgets to register for something, I'm like, don't worry, I got you. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone from mid-90s onwards who's been a part of it, whether it's the parents, whether it's someone who's coming here, and people support in so many ways. There's a lot of, I'm looking at the camera because people might watch, but there's people who are no longer members who always still just message me going like, I'd love to support, I'd like to come down one day, I'd have a coffee. So we're celebrating, depending on when this goes out, we're celebrating being 30 years on the 5th of September. It'd be really good to see everyone. You don't have to come and train. There's loads of training opportunity for everyone all day, but if you just want to come have a coffee and say hi, that'd be awesome too. But there's people from all around the world who message me just like, hope you're doing all right. Really proud of you. Look at the gym. Looks wicked. There's people who are no longer members. There's friends. There's family. My parents gave up so much for like of their time to be doing this. My family have suffered through all of this because my obsession with this is totally it's overpowered. Like I have been obsessed with martial arts my entire life. I am still obsessed with martial arts, and now I'm obsessed with this. So, my family have been through a lot to support me, all of them, and I'm thankful to all the coaches, all the members, you, and everybody else.
So much you.
No, not so much me.
Not so much David.
Well, we're very proud of you, mate, in a non-patronising way.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Good film knowledge, Paul.
John.
Watch guy.
He was in Indiana Jones.
Yes.
He was.
Himley was.
Yeah, he was his
He's
mate.
his buddy in the market.
The one who goes bad date. When the monkey eats the date.
Yeah.
In the first one, in Raiders.
Is he?
Yeah.
And he's in the recent one as well.
Yeah, he comes back, doesn't he? He's like an old.
Well, hang on a minute. But Gimli's a dwarf.